Hi there, Capricorns, and welcome to your soulmate reading with me, Priscilla B. Hope you're having a good day. I got some coffee here, got my mom fuel. So, yeah. But all right, so let's see. Okay, what is going on in your soulmate connection right now, Capricorn? We're about a week from Valentine's Day, so let's see. All right. So first I'm going to draw one of these love fairy cards, and then basically that's going to tell me the overall like storyline and how it's all connecting and making sense. Okay, we have unexpected connection. Opposites attract. Yeah, that tracks, Capricorn. All right, so you really were not expecting this connection because it's like someone who is like the totally complete opposite of you, okay? But yet here we are, right? Now I'm just thinking of like Bridgerton and the newest season of Bridgerton. So yeah, those two characters, wow, Sophie and Benedict, right? Oh my gosh. Opposites. I don't know about you, but I really feel like they are total opposites. She's like practical and hardworking, and she's a very, not to say Benedict isn't intelligent, but it's like a different type of intelligence, like he's an artist, so he's more into like the chaos and the creativity, and she's more of like, okay, I love art, I love creativity, but we also have to like be realistic here, so it's really interesting. All right, so I'm getting the High Priestess energy here as well. Okay, so yeah, this is like really giving me like a window into kind of what you're going through right now. Okay, Capricorn, you're kind of going through some shifts and some transitions of finding your inner voice, following your intuition, really being able to speak up and say the things that you want to say. You got the rock star, on the outside, but the high priestess on the inside. It's a very interesting contrast, but I also think it makes a lot of sense because I don't know about you, but I find like music in general, it's always the artist is always coming from a place of listening to their intuition and their inner voice. They're just projecting it like vocally so we can hear it through song and music, and songs are like all metaphors, right? A lot of them can be metaphors. Yeah, so we have the King of Pentacles and the Sun energy. So this has a lot to do with, again, inner child and your inner happiness and the light that it brings you when you are sort of like exploring the idea of what could possibly be, even if it doesn't seem realistic. Okay, and it's not coming from like a dark place either. It's coming from a place of light and hope, and having that sort of like imagination you did when you were a child of like, what could this really be like? But of course you're adult right now, so we have the King of Pentacles. So we have this like very mature, realistic, like pretty much like it's like a process of like thinking realistically, financially, and practically, and manifesting your abundance, but you're doing it in a creative way. You're doing it in a way that sort of speaks to you as, okay, well, this is something that other people might not find possible, right? But it is possible, right? It is plausible, right? So that's the whole like theme anyway. I feel like right now, Capricorn, with this connection. Okay. Yeah, we have Isis and Osiris. In ancient Egypt, Isis was among the oldest of goddesses, the mother and giver of all life. A moon goddess, she gives birth to the sun, creates and sustains all life, and is the savior of all people, the teacher of agriculture. She is also the goddess of medicine and wisdom. Osiris was her brother and husband. Okay, we're we're not going there. But anyways, that was, ancient times here, people. Okay. When Osiris was murdered by his brother Set, Isis searched for and found him, revived him, and conceived their son Horus. When Set again took Osiris and scattered his body in 14 pieces, Isis hunted down each piece, except for his reproductive organs, which she was unable to locate in order to give each piece a proper burial. Isis is the universal goddess representing total femininity. She can overcome death itself, yet she is not above grief. One of her tears wept when Osiris was dying caused the Nile River to flood. She underscores the depths of emotion that even a goddess must feel. Okay, so you're feeling a lot of feelings, Capricorn, which isn't like typically you, because it's like you're Capricorn. You try to like be less emotional and more logical, but when you're thinking about a soulmate connection, I mean, that's just like, there is room for logic, but it's more emotional. Soulmate connections are more emotional than logic, right? So that's why you're like, okay, what am I feeling? Okay, ask help from others. Okay, so your spirit guides, your soul tribe, they want you to know that you're not alone in this, and it's okay to ask for help in understanding what's going on more and on a deeper level. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, because Capricorns, I'm a Capricorn, so I know it's hard to ask for help. Okay, also, my sexuality is sacred. Okay, so this is really something important to remember, especially with all the like creepers and weirdos out there. Like that are gonna be creeping probably on you, Capricorn. But just remember, like, your energy, your sexual energy, that's yours. Okay, that doesn't belong to anybody else. That's for you. So just keep that in mind if you're sensing like something's off with someone, especially if you're single and you want to go out on dates and stuff like that. Because you got to be careful. So definitely channel in your high priestess energy and ask help from your spirit guides, your soul tribe. Ask help from, that this could also be like, best friends. This could also be siblings. This could also be, people that are like professionals. Okay. This could be also like other tarot readers that talk about love and love connections. This could be experts, okay, in helping you find the one. Okay. It depends, what your preferences are. Page of Wands, adventure, cheerfulness, fearless, extroverted, fresh. Okay, so again, that's like you are venturing out now. Page of Wands, you're preparing yourselves for this adventure. So if you are in a relationship, maybe you're like trying to explore like going on a fun new adventure with your person and seeing where that leads. And if you're single, then maybe it's more about like who's out there, who's available, like do you guys have the connection? And at the end of the day, it all comes back to unexpected connection. Opposites attract. Okay? So just keep that in mind. I was just watching How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And it was so good because, the guy, Matthew McConaughey, plays that character. What was his his character's name? I can't remember. But he's like, into marketing. He sells beer. He's like a guy's guy. And then he wants to do something completely, totally different from what he normally does. And he wants to try to market diamonds. And it turns into this whole thing about learning about love and connection and, trying to not use that more logical side of yourself, but trying to use that more emotional, sensitive side of yourself to understand that, like, yeah, in the world, things happen and, we make mistakes along the way, but what's going on underneath all of that? Sort of, there's like layers to it. And then Andy, the main character, she is someone who really wants to write serious pieces, political pieces, what's going on in the world today in society. And, she has to write about like beauty products and stuff that she finds sort of like vapid and shallow. And it's like through her connection, her love connection, she realizes like not to be afraid anymore to follow her dreams and what's stopping her, right? And that's what Matthew McConaughey's character sort of brings out in her. So they learn things from each other, even though they're opposites. Like he's a guy's guy, she's a girl's girl, but like there's a deeper level to her. There's a deeper understanding to her, and there is with his character as well. So anyways, okay, if you're looking for a rom-com to watch, watch that one because it's one of my favorites. And then we have Ace of Cups, Joy. Okay, so no matter what's going on in your love life, you want someone who really fills your cup with emotional abundance, brings you happiness, brings you joy. That's what you want to look for. I'm looking at like myself for some reason. Okay, there, now I'm looking at the camera. But yeah, definitely focus on this, okay? Focus on the Ace of Cups. Focus on someone who brings you joy and happiness, kind of sees the world as like a half full kind of guy, or being around people who are like that. And also self-love, self-care as well. Like if you're not looking for a relationship, if you're not interested in a connection, then giving yourself some love, bringing yourself some happiness, bring yourself some joy. It's really going to go a long way for you this Valentine's. Okay. And also just take it for the month of February. I don't know your time. I don't know what you're doing with your timeline here. I know my timeline's all messed up. So right now. So that's what I got for you. Love and light, Capricorns. I'll try to do more videos as Valentine's Day gets closer. But for now, take care and stay safe. Bye.